have gotten rid of you.
I don't think so. You're not getting rid of me that easily.
Happened again last night. I woke up screaming.
The same dream? Was I in it?
You're always in it.
Was I saying things? I'm usually saying things in your dreams.
Nerdfighter things.
Speaking in tongues.
Charlie, I don't even know what a Nerdfighter is.
I don't know. It's just a word.
In my head, every night. World suck, that's another one. How do you world suck? And then there's that phrase. The 5 words that haunt my dreams every night. Just before I wake up screaming, you look me in the eye and say, Ben, don't forget to be something. I don't know. Awkward.
Have you tried waking up?
No. Yes. What do you mean? You're not wearing any pants?
Neither are you.
Oh, bloody hell!
You know what this is.
I'm dreaming, aren't I? This is a dream.
The perfect day. It's too bad it has to end.
Right. Fine. Go on then, figment of my imagination. How do I wake up?
You could try rubbing a nipple.
What?
Usually works for me.
Really? This is a bit weird.
The harder you rub, the more it decreases world suck. Do it, Nerdfighter! French the lava! See you next Friday, Hank!
Charlie, stop!
Geronimo!
That's not even
You're forgetting to be awesome, Ben!
I'm not.
Ben!
What?
Don't forget to be...
When you're looking for someone and then someone comes along and that enters in your head, you thought that someone could be wrong, and they'll tell you that you're pretty, put these thoughts inside your head, but you're never really special, you'll realize you're average instead when you try to wash away the...
Hello and welcome to this week's Becoming YouTube. It's been a while. 3 weeks, actually. But Ben, you said this was going to be a 12-week video project. Yes, I did. Never said 12 consecutive weeks though, did I? So, now who looks stupid? This week's Becoming YouTube, which is actually the first of 2, there's going to be another one uploaded in a couple of days' time, and if you watch to the end of this video you'll find out why. This Becoming YouTube video is all about nerds, specifically Nerdfighters, which my YouTube dictionary defines as the fans, followers, subscribers and supporters of the Vlogbrothers, multiple #1 New York Times best-selling novelist John Green and his brother, musician and entrepreneur Hank Green. They're kind of like an American Jack and Dean, if Jack and Dean were brothers, and owned books, and could read. Nerdfighter is an accidental movement that grew from the Vlogbrothers' first video blogging project, Brotherhood 2.0, in 2007. Today it's a huge yet tight-knit international community with its own memes and in-jokes and catchphrases, don't forget to be awesome, and record label, DFTBA, and shit tons of merch, and even its own charity project, the Project for Awesome, which has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for good causes. 2 weeks ago, the Vlogbrothers played a sellout show at New York's prestigious Carnegie Hall. This coming week, John and Hank are touring the UK, where Nerdfighter is alive and thriving. It's never been a cooler time to be a nerd, apparently. Even so, a Becoming YouTube video devoted to the fans of one specific YouTube channel might seem a bit like, what the hell, Ben? But this video isn't just about Nerdfighter. It's about fandom in general. All YouTube fandoms, whether your idols are Charlie McDonald, Dan and Phil, Sam Pepper, Wheezy Waiter, or if you're particularly stupid, Ray William Johnson. Fans of bands, fans of Bieber, Sherlock fans, Doctor Who fans. This video looks at the good and bad sides of online communities and fandoms, and it uses Nerdfighter as our case study.
Nerdfighter is one of the biggest communities on YouTube, and it is common practice for large vloggers and content creators to sort of name their audience, to give their audience an identity.
Wheezy Waiter will call his audience beard lovers, Alex will call the Nermy army.
Philip DeFranco has The Nation, for example.
But I don't have like cool likers or anything like that.
But the Vlogbrothers sort of take that to a new level.
With John and Hank, what they've done is pretty much try and make their audience into a community of people who do things and have in-jokes that John and Hank don't even know about because they're such a tight-knit community and such a strong community.
That's their sign, something like that. No, it's this thing. Like the Star Trek thing.
You can't steal that.
one of the key elements of of being a nerdfighter, and of course it's in the name, is being a nerd.
I kind of didn't know what it was for ages.
Yeah.
I knew it existed,
That's funny.
but I was so late to the boat. Is it late to the bus?
Late to the party and you missed the
party.
boat.
I missed the
I was
boat.
late to the boat.
They define it as like a freedom fighter, but instead of fighting for freedom, you're fighting for nerds.
I missed the boat, not the party.
I'm a nerdfighter in as much as I like enjoy John and Hank's videos and like celebrating nerd culture and the good things about it.
The kind of values and themes that they promote in their videos are values and themes that I identify with.
You get really excited about things, like genuinely excited about a TV show that you really love, not just kind of like ironically, but just because you're like jumping up and down, excited, like properly.
Obsessive almost sometimes, and being intelligent and seeking answers to questions and that sort of thing.
And I think that is something that is really good to kind of like celebrate and encourage.
Oh my goodness, they are quite annoying because they're really closed-minded.
I know they stand for awesomeness and stuff, but as soon as you say the tiniest thing that might sound a little bit mean about the Nerdfighters, they're like mighty hawks. Yeah. It's weird, they turn the complete polar opposite of what they're supposed to be about.
They are very passionate, and it is kind of like having an army of people willing to do whatever you want to do. So it is as cute as it is, it's kind of a bit creepy.
You think they're open-minded because it's the more intellectual, talky bits of YouTube, but no, their fans are really, really closed-minded. They haven't heard of anything else on YouTube. They can't fathom that there are YouTubers other than Charlie, Alex, Vlogbrothers, and whoever else is in that network.
If somebody doesn't consider themselves a nerdfighter or just doesn't really want to be one or doesn't like John and Hank's videos or whatever, then a lot of nerdfighters will jump on them for that and be like, why not? Like, what's your problem? What's wrong with you? Why are you such an awful person?
People do forget what those core principles are, and people aren't nice to everyone and accepting of everyone, and they don't work to make the world a better place. All they do is enjoy the in-jokes, and outside of that are sometimes horrible people.
If there are negative things that come out of it, it would come out of pretty much kind of any community of kind of young people who are just starting to get their feet in the world, basically.
Nerdfighter at its core is good. It's really good. It reminds me, in a way, of feminism. I would class myself as a feminist and a nerdfighter, interestingly enough. When people think of feminists, they think of like angry butch women like stomping on men's crotches and setting fire to their bras. And when people think of nerdfighters, I think of really annoying people who say awesome 25 times in a sentence and mindlessly watch anything that people like Charlie and Alex put up. I'm quite proudly a nerdfighter, because when people are snide about it and say horrible things about it, it's like, well, I'd rather be in part of a community that like works for charity and tries to make the world a better place than in a community of people that sit around making bitchy remarks about the people who are trying to make a world a better place.
So at least that's one good thing about the Nerdfighter thing, is that they're using their powers for good, whereas quite a lot of us just use them for monetary gain.
I'd rather be a loser who does good stuff than someone who thinks they're cool.
If Nerdfighteria is aimed at anyone, it's kids who feel that they don't fit in, which conversely is all of us at one time or another, and that, I suppose, is the genius of Nerdfighteria. Except there's one emerging trend, especially online, that makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. On Tumblr and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, anywhere you can bash in your own bio, basically. An increasing number of people are labelling themselves as socially awkward. Oh my god, I'm so awkward! And crucially, they're wearing this social awkwardness as like a badge of honour. Of course, if you are socially awkward, if you struggle to interact with people in real life, then that's fine. I'd consider myself a bit socially awkward sometimes, especially when talking into a camera. But is it something to aspire to? And does Nerdfighteria do that? Is social awkwardness something to be celebrated, to be fetishised even?
In the real world and in the history of the word nerd, that has been paired with socially awkward people. And I don't think that's necessarily what the Vlogbrothers wanted to promote.
I think using it as a sort of coping mechanism for a while is a good thing, but only if it gives you the confidence to go outside and do stuff and meet people. I just find it really strange that a lot of people on the internet seem to promote social awkwardness as like a really good thing about themselves.
Celebrating social awkwardness, it's not something I don't suppose Nerdfighteria intentionally meant to do. It's just something that's kind of come from it.
It is a dangerous thing to celebrate.
I don't think it's a dangerous thing to celebrate, because I feel like the more you celebrate it, the less it's a problem. The more people are kind of becoming less socially awkward because they are interacting with more people who have that in common.
So that's only going to improve their social
Just
skills.
finding other people to relate to is probably making them less actually awkward,
Yeah.
I guess.
So it's a trick. It's all a trick.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's good for people who feel too awkward to be in the real world to find each other, but at the same time, promoting awkwardness is basically saying it's okay that you don't want to interact with any humans.
See, I don't think it does do that. I think people who don't like socially awkward people complain about it because they feel like it does that. But really, it's just their issue that they don't think those sorts of people should be acknowledged. They just wish they'd be just kicked away from society.
There are a lot of nerds who are socially awkward, but you can be nerdy about, pretty much anything. Like people who kind of like really excited about fashion or whatever. You can be a fashion nerd, I guess. So, and maybe those kind of people aren't kind of like socially awkward or anything. I think celebrating nerdy things and celebrating the good things about being a nerd.
I think it's good that if you are a socially awkward person, then and you don't feel like you have a place that you have that outlet, then John and Hank provide that, and that's a great side effect, but it's not the reason for Nerdfighter's existence.
If there's so many socially awkward people on the internet, they do need a group to talk to each other, I guess, in a way. And I suppose I would say that the majority of people who spend a lot of time on the internet are probably going to be quite introverted, socially awkward people. So I think it's probably a powerful thing to have a group for them to talk to each other in the confines of their own rooms and stuff.
I feel like Tumblr and oh my god, I'm so awkward has almost made these people more confident because they feel like they can be louder among people that are like them.
I don't like it when socially awkward people get encouraged because they get really arrogant. And they're really annoying. And there's nothing I hate more than an arrogant nerd.
I quite like the Nerdfight area. I like the kind of the community behind it and that people have that in common and it's kind of united people.
I feel like it's given all these people a place and it's encouraged this generation to open their minds and everything I don't think there's anything bad about it.
I don't think there's anything bad.
I don't really know that much about Nerdfight area, to be honest. I'm not really... But it does need to be studied, I think, by a scientist. Like, they should capture a few and just see how they work. It's like when pigs do those tests to like get sweets out of a thing. Maybe, I don't know. That's a big project. It'll need a lot of backing. But
Crabsticks was onto something, but to find me some Nerdfighters, I had to think like a Nerdfighter.
Get 'em while they're hot. Free hugs. Get 'em while they're hot. Free hugs.
Whoa, that was quick. For questioning and borderline illegal experimentation, we took our Nerdfighters to a top-secret location. Lonely, abandoned, somewhere no one would ever think to look.
No one understands Nerdfighters except other Nerdfighters.
If it weren't for Nerdfighter, I would have never embraced my inner awesome. Nerdfighters taught me how to love.
I need to wee.
I hope Pottermore puts me into Ravenclaw, but I'm afraid that it's going to see my evil side and put me into Slytherin.
I've never met a Hufflepuff I wouldn't bang.
Everyone says they want to be Nerdfighter-like, but I just want to find the Alex to my Charlie.
What's the point of this experiment?
No point. Just enjoy watching him run.
John Green, looking for Alaska. Paperback.
Looking for Alaska?
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Alex Day's favourite pair of jeans.
Tom Wilson's Fringe.
Llamas.
Ukulele. Purple.
Charlie in that Purple Man video.
That's Charlie McDonnell. Definitely Charlie.
I've got a nosebleed.
I want to lose my virginity to the Sons of Admiral's anthem, Here Comes My Baby.
It's worse than we thought. No one remembers Sons of Admirals.
I sometimes wish I was a cat.
In the 21st century, we all want to be seen as individuals, but also we crave to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. Does Nerdfighteria, or any fan community, help furnish us with an identity, or does it remove it? When we identify as a nerdfighter, are we giving up a little piece of ourselves? It's like that scene in Monty Python's A Life of Brian where a whole crowd chants in unison, "We are all individuals, we are all different," and then one little guy down the front raises his hand and goes, "I'm not."
When Nerdfighteria, if that's what you want to call it, started, I only heard about it from like when Charlie made webcam videos and all that sort of stuff. I didn't know who the Vlog Brothers were, and I just see him talk about maybe a Nerdfighter gathering, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay, I get what it is. You're fighting for nerds. It's kind of like a nice little idea that nerds are awesome now, but it's kind of gone to the stage where it's just a name for people who like certain things, and that seems to be Doctor Who, Vlog Brothers, Charlie Is So Cool Like, and other things of that variety, like
things like Harry Potter and
yeah,
like that.
stuff
It's
like
not nerdy. I just want to clarify, it's not nerdy to like Doctor Who.
Yeah,
it's not nerdy to like Harry Potter.
They're the most popular things in the world. That doesn't make you nerdy at all.
A lot of the messages do get lost, and a lot of certain in-jokes and things do get amplified a bit, which is a problem, but it kind of has to be taken, you know, roll with the punches when it comes to communities getting bigger like Nerdfighteria is.
It's good that it's big, but it's just a little bit scary, and I can see why John and Hank would be intimidated by what they've created, because they don't really have control of it anymore.
It creates a sense of, no, I don't want to say elitism, but kind of exclusion for anyone who's not, and anyone who doesn't want to be a nerdfighter, doesn't consider himself a nerdfighter.
There is some elitism, and there is some impression that you have to have seen every single Vlogbrothers video. You have to be subscribed to everyone they talk about in their videos. You have to have bought all of the music on DFTBA, all of that sort of thing. And if you don't do that, then you're not a nerdfighter. And the Green Brothers often talk and say that's just complete rubbish. That's not the truth.
But if people are nerdfighters, then fine, just don't be a prick about it.
Here's some tough love. Some nerdfighters are dicks, some of the time, and this is important. It's important because in order to empathise with our fellow humans, it helps to recognise that we all have the capacity to be dicks, and we all have the capacity to be awesome, and we spend most of our time treading the line between the two, clumsily, occasionally falling arse over tit onto one side or the other, then crawling our way back. None of us has an essential essence. You aren't deep down either awesome or not. And it's important because the same is true of any community. It's the most human thing in the world to want to belong, and Nerdfighteria is one of the most human of online communities, grappling clumsily with awesomeness as it does, and sometimes falling short because that's what humans do, and other times hitting the mark, and hitting it so magnificently and courageously, and being so brilliantly, truly awesome that it makes me want to weep with joy in my pants. The Vlog Brothers have said that anybody can be a part of Nerdfighteria, but you have to want to be, and most people don't. Am I a nerdfighter? Well, no, but I do dig what they believe in. Ostensibly, Nerdfighteria is about love and intelligence, but especially love. But you don't have to be a nerdfighter to believe in those things, and that's important too. Also, you know, it is okay to hate things. And that is the sound of Tom Scar breathing a happy sigh of relief.
One of my closest friends, he's not obsessive nerd fighter, but he does DFTBA, and he does like Project for Awesome and that kind of stuff. And when I go off my little angry rants about YouTubers that are really getting on my skin, he just goes, "Shut up, no one cares." And I want him to get involved and hate something with me. He used to hate things with me, now he doesn't. I blame the Vlog Brothers.
Hating things is what makes us human,
right? Hate is beautiful. Don't take that away from us.
Just as it's important to consider nerdfighters complexly, we should consider our idols complexly too. Uninterrupted adulation is dangerous. The Vlog Brothers are not your saviours, nor do they profess to be, nor do Dan and Phil, nor does Charlie. The truth is that your YouTube idols are probably as flawed and as complex and as brilliant and as beautiful as you are. Just maybe a bit richer, what with all the fucking merch. Ninebrassmonkeys t-shirts may be available though in due course, so don't want to cut my nose off to... Look, we appear to have run out of time, but this discussion will continue in next week's Becoming YouTube video, which will be up in 2 days' time, because that's how weekly works. And next week's video is something a bit different. Here's a teaser.
It's a messy world, right? And it's a messy identity. Identifying as a nerd or as a nerd fighter is like a very malleable identity, because we're still deciding what it means every day together. And so you can get, you can have it just be about, oh, I like Doctor Who, or I like the Harry Potter books, or I like John's books. To me, none of those things really makes a Nerdfighter. Or to me, it's, you know, a values-based identity.
You're going to get lots of awesome Nerdfighters, and you're going to get a few Nerdfighters who are dicks, because that's what happens in any community.
Totally.
How do you reconcile those things in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's really difficult, right? Because you want to celebrate your audience and say we have the best audience. Our audience is 100% perfect, but of course that's not true at all.
You really don't want to miss that, so I'll see you back here imminently. In the meantime, I'm still reading all your comments and watching all your video responses, even though there's a bit of a backlog, so feel free to chip in with your thoughts on Nerdfighteria and fandoms in general, and your idols and how you view them. Ta-ta!
You know, you just had the almost imponderable joy of watching 9 brass monkeys, which makes you like 9? No, that doesn't really work. Ooh, a monkey! You know what? I'm not even getting paid for this, so you guys can go and get on with your lives and have a good day. Bye.
They will never guess what we got. I will never tell. We're a step ahead. It's not that far, but it's a step ahead. There's a long line. It can wait. It's a long line. What about the time?
Kids these days are fat.
Yeah.
Look at him. Wait a minute. What's the point of this experiment? Wait a second. What's the point of this experiment that we get?
Lose your weight.
Lose a weight. Wait.
Lose a weight.
Wait.